Gothic a subculture, a genre, a style, or a people group?
Buckle up, Bessie. There's a lot to unpack. So Gothic originally refers to the Germanic ethnic group like the Visigoths or the Ostrogoths. Let's go to the map, besties. You probably already know that during the ancient era, the Roman Empire was just that girl, but the Huns have been pushing the tribes like the Gothic people eastern onto the Roman border.
During and after the fall of Rome, even the word Gothic, barbarian, Vandal, Huns, those sort of like rival tribes, even today in the English language, have a negative connotation.
And the Visigoths are the ones that ultimately sack Rome. Because even though the Roman Empire is gone, the impact on our language and the Roman Catholic Church is still very influential in Europe throughout the Middle Ages, which is our next era of Gothic. So by this point, the Gothics have kind of fully assimilated into modern Europe, so they're not really a distinct people group anymore. So Gothic just means anything not Roman, specifically an architectural style. Now, during this time, the Masons weren't like, ooh, yes, that flying buttress, it's getting Gothic. They didn't know it was going to be called Gothic. And I wish there was a way to know that we were living in the good old days while we still actually were living in them. So by 1500, the Renaissance bros are like, oh, all of this goth is giving me the ick. It's neoclassical or nothing. The witches, the religion, the folklore, the superstition, the font, all of that now is out. And the Renaissance takes us into the modern era. So we see the scientific revolution, the industrial revolution. A lot of the intellectuals at the time, the writers, they sort of begin to have a nostalgia for this time period.
Like, not you romanticizing the literal dark ages.
Because it's like, science says that we don't even have souls. You know, I think we're taking the science too far. Like Mary Shelley is saying, like, Frankenstein and all these ugly factories are popping up, and it's like, oh, look at those old beautiful castles back when things were beautiful, and now they're crumbling. And also reframing a lot of these villains of the Middle Ages, like witches and women and vampires. Maybe they were just misunderstood. This all comes to a head with the Victorian era. There's a Gothic revival. Basically replaced the plague with tuberculosis. Our girl Vicky was like, make Europe Gothic again. She wore white to her wedding, which is still basically the trend. And then when her husband died, she wore her mourning clothes for decades. Gothic people today are cosplaying like Victorian funeral goers. The lace, the corsets, the jet black jewelry. Nothing beats a Jet 2 Black Parade. The Gothic subculture is sort of similar to the Bohemians, that they want to like reject modern life, and the Romantics that sort of want to idealize modern life. Now the Gothic people, they're like, maybe we're the new Romantics, and Heartache is our national anthem. They want to feel it, confront the ills of society, the sins of their past, and if they don't, they'll be haunted by it, as shown in all of the Gothic literatures. Now that brings us in to Gothic in the 1970s, referred to the underground music scene and the aesthetic, and there was also an ethos of anti-establishment, anti-capitalism, this inclusional space for people who didn't really fit in. They wear a lot of like occult and also Christian symbols. They're not really trying to say they adhere to it. It's more of like a reference to the tension of the soul that we see in these different eras back here. But then what sort of happens is movie, TV, the internet make this subculture a bit more palatable. The same thing happened with Halloween. It used to be an ancient ethnic festival. The church superimposed demonic imagery on it, and then all of a sudden it became this commercial holiday. There's definitely people that still adhere to the lifestyle. Just now, you see a lot of people that more are just kind of into the aesthetic. Might not really be rebelling against all of society at large. You know, it might just be some emo kids rebelling against their parents. So in that sense, Gothic retains its meaning. It means going against the dominant preppy culture, or going against the hyper-rational culture, or going against classical culture, or going against the literal Roman Empire itself. It still has that connotation of an outsider who is empowered by going against the mainstream culture.
2,000 years of history show that it was never a phase. I'm Miss Shella. I'm the millennial history teacher. Be sure to follow along for more deep dives like this one. Let me know anything that I missed out in the comments, and share this video with anybody else who loves Gothic history.